Hey everybody, Cinephile Mike is here, and it is day 84 of Award Season Review Season 3. 97 reviews coming at you in 97 days, covering many of the films contending for awards recognition this season. Now, as we know, by this point, for those of you that have been with me, some of the films I'm talking about may either still be in theaters, be awaiting a re-release, or be awaiting its initial release. So all the information that I am providing to you is current within 7 days of posting. This includes critical response, box office information, nominations, predictions, wins, and most importantly, as always, these reviews are spoiler free. Also, please make sure you check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for great additional award season content, including a Where Can I Watch It spreadsheet so you can see how to watch all of the nominated films that I'm talking about here and so many more, and also track and see who's been winning what. You can also find my series of videos on who I am predicting is going to take home each of those big prizes come Oscar night. 10 of them are live now, and we have these last 13 days leading up to the Oscars. So, today we are wrapping our 12th theme week. Yes, we are wrapping up Snub Week. Yes, this week I have looked at those awards nominated films that have been all over the maps this season, but they failed to land that prestigious Oscar nomination. And there were many this year that people felt were deserving, and today, for some, was no exception. And a lot of people felt the omission of this film was upsetting. So today, for the final day, we look at Universal Studios and Focus Features' Piece by Piece. Written and directed by Morgan Neville, the film was released in the fall of 2024. Now, at the end of its theatrical run, the film, as of now, posts $9,756,635 domestically and an additional $902,101 at the international box office for a current worldwide total of $10,658,736. Critically, the film is certified fresh on both sides with an 83% critical rating from 125 reviews and a popcorn meter score of 90% that is culled from over 500 audience reviews. Award season wise, the film has had various nods amongst several film festivals and critic circles. And as far as the awards that I've been talking about this season, I'm going to bring up that it was nominated for two Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, Best Documentary Feature and Best Music Documentary, one International Documentary Association Award nod for Best Writing, and one Annie Award nomination for Outstanding Achievement for Music in an Animated Feature. While not nominated for either of the two big ones, BAFTAs or Oscars, the film was longlisted for the Children's and Family Film category for the BAFTAs and was shortlisted for the Oscar for Best Original Song for the title track Piece by Piece, written and performed by the subject of our film, Pharrell Williams. So, like I just said, what is this about? It's a biographical documentary about the career of Pharrell Williams. Right from the jump, we open with him talking to the film's director, Neville Morgan, and they discuss that Pharrell wants his documentary to be done as an animated Lego movie if they're going to tell this story. He stated he felt that his world was always kind of formed from pre existing materials, the way that Legos are done. So that would be the best way to do this, and that's what we do. So Pharrell will then take us through his upbringing in Virginia Beach, talking about how he was a little easily distracted when he was a kid. And, eventually we see him befriend Chad Hugo, who, as history will tell us, Pharrell and Chad would go on to become the multi award winning producers, the Neptunes, so named for Pharrell's love of the ocean and mythology that he was living in around Virginia Beach. And in the early days of their career, we see them work with musicians, up and comers like Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, Timbaland, and ultimately we see them get a deal, a big producing deal with Teddy Riley, who develops offices right in Virginia Beach, which wasn't common for the music industry. However, as they continue to do this work and it proves to be lucrative, Pharrell realizes that he is not going to be able to create music in his own right in this vein. So while he figures that next step out, we will see him go on to work with some of his more famous collaborators, such as Gwen Stefani, No Doubt, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, amongst others. And as we see Pharrell's career take off, we see how this, both his solo career and with the Neptunes, we see how there starts to be an impact on certain relationships in his life, both pre existing and those that he's trying to foster. And while his success grows, we see that not everything is as cracked up to be. Although we will see a few other highlights that are more familiar in the ether. So let me say this. The choice to do the Lego film definitely elevates it within the documentary genre. Um, it's interesting this award season that we have two musical artists, one in documentary, and we have Robbie Williams, Better Man, who opted to go for the narrative feature of a biopic where he is a CGI chimpanzee. Um, and Pharrell went the documentary route with Lego. So it's nice to see that we're stretching. What is a problem for the documentary is really what we see. I mean, Neville, at times, he's talking to Pharrell and trying to get him to speak about his life, and Pharrell does go through a handful of details, but a lot of it seems to be very surface level. And also the talking head interviews, which are fascinating to hear about his work with Stefani, Timberlake, Jay-Z, all these people. We don't really get much insight from them into Pharrell. We hear how Pharrell helped their careers, but if the subject of the documentary isn't really being discussed, how are we really supposed to get the full story? Pharrell reveals a little, but it feels like he's scratching the surface and they don't really dig in, right? Like they may have built this piece by piece, but they didn't really look at how each piece was being connected. And because of this fact, it doesn't feel that the documentary is really earned per se, because what is the story that we're trying to tell here? It seems like there's a wall between Williams and Morgan Farrell, and that's what should be coming down. But I want to go back to the earlier point. What actually made the film more watchable was the fact that they designed this as a Lego film. I'm glad they didn't incorporate like Lego and real action. I think sticking to one genre was the right move. And what's nice about it is, the really bright, vibrant colors and the excellent animation that we get, especially when we have some of the big musical numbers, these Fantasia types of sequences. They're really lovely to see. So they're elevated, but not elevated enough to go beyond the surface level of what we're getting. We get eye candy, but again, it's just a little more style over substance. So, as I've talked about the other films this week, do I think this film was snubbed by the Academy? I don't think so. For this season, let's look at it in the two veins. In the documentary race, comparing it to those that were ultimately shortlisted and, nominated, they do a much better job at digging into the subjects that they're portraying in the documentary. Piece by Piece does not, which is probably why it did not even rate high enough to be the shortlist. Where you could potentially say it could have been snubbed is in animated feature, if they had been pushing it there. We don't get to see that shortlist, so we don't know where Piece by Piece fell within the range. But if you, again, compare that to the 5 nominated films that we have, while a Lego film is stunning to look at, it is a little been there, done that with some of the other films that we have gotten this season. So that's where I'm going to leave it. For me, I know I'm going to fall a little on the lower end here. For me, Piece by Piece is just a 3-star film. While there are some beautiful visual 5-star sequences, it's stunning to look at. Again, it's that whole style over substance thing that doesn't really do it for me. However, you have your opinions, I have mine. If you would like to catch Piece by Piece, it is currently streaming exclusively on Peacock or available for digital rental and purchase on most platforms. All right. So with that, we are now done with Snub Week. That is 84 reviews down, 13 left to go. Thank you for all those that have been with me on this journey from day one or over the years, and to the new subscribers we have. Thank you so much. Now, the next is going to be a shorter week. We're going to have 6 days where I talk about some of the highly commended and or shortlisted shorts, and then talk about the nominated shorts in the 3 branches: animated, documentary, and live action. Then we will have the last batch of 7 Oscar nominated films. And then there we have it. March 2nd is just around the corner. As always, if you like what you heard here, please click that subscribe button, like the video, share it with someone, get someone else to click. Let's build our community here. It's so fun. And just because the Oscars are coming up doesn't mean that I'm going to go away. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. Check out my website for great award season content and also some additional content that I just covered at the 50th anniversary of the Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival. So there's lots of great stuff there. We're going to be back tomorrow starting to take a look at the shorts. But until then, everyone, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.